Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. First we will meditate for 5 minutes. So those of you who have been initiated into any mantra can repeat the mantra or do meditation according to your spiritual initiation. And those of you who have not yet received any such initiation can think of yourself as a pure body which you are, and in the space of your heart can think of an effulgent self and try to meditate on the pure self that you are. I will say Om and try to keep your back erect, at the same time in a comfortable position, and sit straight, close your eyes, try to withdraw as far as possible from the external disturbances. I will say Om, and after 5 minutes I will again repeat Om. Om. We were studying the Katha Upanishad, calling it Death with a Difference. Now we will chant the Shanti mantra. I will chant, you can chant after me. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So now it's summer, very hot, and we have an energy crisis. So we are looking for alternatives in terms of non-renewable energy and other kinds of energy. We want to go out from there, and we want to go to ingenious methods of getting energy sources. So the other day we got a chula in our ashrama, which is made out of, the fuel is made out of sawdust and the, coverings of peanuts. So I think all of us here need a energy booster. So you see, not only because I have the microphone, even switching off the microphone, I am confident that I can match or outmatch all the voices put together here. So please, let us do it once again. I hope you got the message. And if you did not have proper lunch, so you can make it up for in the dinner time. So please. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Some of you are not able to repeat this text because you do not have it in front of your eyes. So I suggest you have a copy of Katha Upanishad. It helps. We were in the second canto of the first chapter of Katha Upanishad, and Lord Yama, the Lord of Death, had revealed to Nachiketa that it is Om, Pranava, which has to be held on to understand the secret of death and also of life. Etad alambanam shreshtam etad alambanam param etad alambanam nyatva brahmaloke mahiyate. So this Om is not only necessary for understanding spirituality, but it also helps to understand the material life. So Om has to be held on to. So God also doesn't bother. Here, the immediate question which should come in our minds, which I don't think is coming in your minds, and the question is, how is it that the same force, call it Om, Brahman or God, gives you support for material life and also for something as opposed to materiality as spirituality? See, spirituality is, spirit is something that is not matter. Material life is all to do with matter. How is that Om has to be held on to for success in spiritual life, also for success in material life? How? Can anybody give an answer or any idea? Yes, try. We're not sitting for any competitive examination. Yes. No, what I am asking is not that. What I am asking is, how is that the same person or the same force can take you to one direction and also to the extremely opposite direction? So, for example, we talk about God and the devil. We don't talk, many religions talk. So, God and devil. So, God will take you towards good and devil will take you towards the evil. But how is that? Here in Katha Upanishad, Yama says to Nachiketa, Etad alambanam param, etad alambanam Nyatva Brahmaloke Mahiyate. Now this Brahmaloka does not mean that you will attain to spirituality. Brahmaloka is only a higher kind of enjoyment. Not in this body, but after you die. So that is also an enjoyment. Now how is that the same Om can lead you to do different things? I will help you here. You see, Brahman alone is there. We have seen this many times. There is only one reality, Brahman. And we perceive it as world, we perceive it as this hall, we perceive it as so many people, etc., etc. But there is only one reality. So, Brahmaloka is also a different perception of the same reality, and spirituality is also a different perception of the same reality. So the reality is one. It's not that the separate thing called Brahmaloka comes to you or a separate life called spiritual life comes to you. There is no separateness. There is only one. Because of ignorance, you see difference. So a person who wants to go to Brahmaloka is still ignorant. The person has not yet attained knowledge. So the person wants to go to Brahmaloka. It's fine with God or Brahman or Om. So because if there were to be two people to be held on to, suppose Katha Upanishad says that for Brahmaloka you go to X and for spirituality you come to Y, then there would have been two realities and which would have gone against logic. So because reality, if it has to be infinite, we saw last class, I hope you remember, reality is infinite in space, time and causation. And if it has to be infinite, it has to be one. It has to be one. And the other way was also true. If it has to be one, it has to be infinite. So, now the Upanishad has told that for people, aspirants, who are of superior quality, means who want to attain to nothing less than Brahman or the knowledge of the ultimate self or the ultimate knowledge for them, and also for spiritual aspirants who are not bothered about that much. They want just roti, kapda and makan and marne ke baad swarg, because probably there is air conditioning and other facilities. So even for them, Om or Brahman is the thing which has to be followed, worshipped or whatever. Now, okay, we understand about this Swarga and all, but what is the nature of the self which you are telling? Etad alambanam param. So, by holding on to or by meditating on Brahman in the form of Om, I can attain to the highest spirituality. So, what is this highest spirituality? Now the Upanishad is explaining about the nature of Atman, Brahman, Self, etc. Self, usually it is written in English with a capital S, because the small s is a self which is generally associated with the body and the mind, selfish. So this self. কাজ করছে না ওটা কি জাস্ট ওখানে একটু করুন না না হ্যাঁ না now it's working আপনি আসাতে এসে so some people, the presence itself is very vibrating. উনি এলেন সঙ্গে সঙ্গে কাজ করছে না. The mantra is na jayate mriyate va vipaschit nayam kutaschinna bhabuva kaschit ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. Can you all repeat? Nayam kutaschit na babuva kaschit ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Vipaschit is the word used here. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. Chit means consciousness. Vipaschit means one who is always aware of this consciousness. One who always knows that he or she is conscious. That person is called vipaschit. Vipaschit. Vipash plus chit. So, who sees in a very special way. Pash is the root word. Vishishta rupena, pash plus chit, consciousness. Who sees in a very special way or very vibrant, very vividly consciousness. That person. You can call that person an intelligent person or enlightened person. Na jayate is not born. This person is not born. How is that? We always see so many people are born. Nava mriyate, does not die. So you see the whole question, Katha Upanishad. What was the question Nachiketa kept before the Lord of Death? What was the question? How many boons did he ask? How many did he get? 4. So what was the 4th boon he got? No, that is the 3rd boon. What is the 4th boon? The boon which Yama did not want to give. So what was Nachiketa, how did he put it? No. Also. Asti iti chaike. No, some Sanskrit you can speak. You will not die. You will not. Contrary to the popular belief, if you speak Sanskrit, you will not die. You will not get any infectious disease also. It's proven fact. And in Indian languages, all Indian languages, Sanskrit is there. Remove Sanskrit from all Indian languages, there is no Indian language at all. So people who say Sanskrit is dead, actually they are foolish. With due respect. Now once you call a person foolish and then you say due respect, where is the respect? But that is how you say, no? They are foolish with due respect. So, respectfully foolish. Asti iti chaike, nayam asti iti chaike. Asti iti, after death, that person remains. Some people cha eke, some people say. Na ayam asti iti chaike. Some people say they don't remain. Now how they remain is also another question. Some people remain as ghosts. Ghosts. So you have so many things, ghosts, bhoot. And some people may remain as some other thing. So some people say that they remain. And some people say that they don't remain. So what is this all mystery about? Please clarify. That is what Nachiketa asked. Now here, Yama is solving the problem at its root itself. He says, you are telling that people die and afterwards they remain or not remain. Na mriyate. So I say that people don't die at all. Nava mriyate. There is no death. So the question comes only where there is death. So there is no death. Na kutaschit. And also the soul, the self, did not come from any place. Did not come from anything or any place. Kutaschit. Na kaschit babhuva. And also does not give rise to anything. What does that mean? It does not give rise to anything which is separate from the self. So this world I see because of ignorance. The world is not coming. It's just a manifestation because of ignorance. So Brahman plus ignorance is equal to the universe. This is the formula. Brahman plus ignorance is equal to the universe. Remove ignorance, universe also is removed. Only Brahman remains. So I see the world because I have ignorance. I see snake in the rope because there is darkness. Remove the darkness, there is no snake, only rope is there. So snake plus rope plus darkness is equal to snake. Brahman plus ignorance is equal to universe. So this universe you see because of ignorance. You see this universe because of ignorance. But there is only one. So where from will this come? Because there is only one. There is no other space limit. So where from will it come? There is no other place from where to come from to. And what will it produce? Only Brahman is there, so it cannot produce. It is not like clay you use to produce pot. Milk you use to produce curd. So there is a transformation. Here there is no transformation. Brahman is there. That is why this rope snake example is the most classic example for Advaita Vedanta. You see, rope, does anything happen to rope? Nothing happens to rope. Rope remains as rope, pure and simple. What happens is to you, your mind. No, but once you heat the clay, can you bring it back to the clay state? After making the pot, once you bake it, can you bring it back to clay state? No. Similarly, after converting milk into curd, can you bring it back to milk? No. So that's what. This is transformation. There is a transformation from milk to curd, from clay to pot, from seed to tree. Tree may produce seed, but tree will never become seed. Seed, when it is transformed into a tree, it can never come back again and become seed. It will remain tree. And tree will further produce many seeds. So the point is, he says that it does not come from any place or anything, and it cannot create anything which is different from itself. I am this self. I am. What is this self? Aja. Aja means birthless. Now this Aja can create problem. Two commentators. So one commentator, he saw Aja. There is a word called Aja in Upanishads, not Aja, Aja. So that commentator took it as birthless. Another commentator saw Aja and it can give you another meaning, that is goat. Tasty to eat. So that person converted into goat because this person was not a Advaita Vedantist. He was a dualist. So he wanted to make sure that birthless does not come. So Aja means goat. So interpretation of scriptures can be very tricky because Sanskrit has got many meanings. Even in Indian languages, same word you will have many meanings. In Bengali, Hindi, etc. Depending on the context you have to understand. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit nayam kutaschit na babhuva kaschit ajo, aja hai, means birthless. Because it is not produced from anywhere, so it is birthless. Nitya hai, it is permanent because there is nothing else which can destroy it. It is infinite in time also. So, if T0 it is X, in T1 also it is X. It does not become X1. So, it is infinite in time also. Then, Shashvata hai, it is also eternal. Nitya hai, Shashvata hai, eternal means undecaying. Purana hai, undecaying. Now we see na jayate, mriyate, vak. So, what are the Shad Vikara? 6 modifications of body. Vardate, Viparinamate. See. So 6 modifications. So here what is being told is the self has neither of these modifications, none of these modifications. Why? Because it is not the body. So there is no jayate, it is not born, it does not grow, it does not stay, and it stays, but not in that sense. It does not grow, and there is no decay. Shashvata means undecaying. There is no decay. Viparinamat, apakshiyate is not there, and already it has been told there is no death. Purana hai, and it is ancient. Why ancient? Suppose no. Ancient, why ancient? What is being meant by the word ancient, Purana, is that you don't know when it was born. There is no date of birth. So because there is no date of birth, Atman will not get voter identity card. See, there is no date of birth. You don't know when it was born. So person of whose date you don't know, you say this is a very old person. Very old person. Date is unknown. You see, when we write about somebody who is very old, we just say date of death. In some of the biographies you can see, because that time nobody could locate the date of birth. So only D. 1920 means when the person was born, we don't know. Similarly, when self is born, self cannot be born, so there is no date of birth. So it is ancient. Means if you go 1000 years back also, it was there. You go 2000 years back also, it was there. So it is ancient, Purana. And na hanyate. It is not killed. When is it not killed? Sharire hanyamane. When the body is killed, when the body dies, it is not killed. So, Nachiketa, don't be afraid of what happens to death, because nothing happens to the self after death. That is the idea. So, death is only of the body, not of the self, not of the Atman. It is not killed. Na hanyate. Na hanyate. It is not killed. Not it cannot be killed. Na hanyate. Sharire hanyamane. Hanyamane sharire. So, does this mantra remind you of any other verse? What is the verse? It is not the same one. There is a simple difference, a small difference, some small differences. Anybody knows? No. Anybody else? In which chapter does it come? Which number shloka? Chapter 2 of Dhyana Yoga will come. Chapter you Sankhya Yoga. Before what shloka? That is not Dhyana Yoga, that is Not little, no, it's neither Sankhya Yoga, it is, what is it? Sukheshu Vigataspra, Dukkheshu Anudvignama. What are they? Huh? What is the question Arjuna asks to Sri Krishna? Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadi kim prabhasheta sthitadi kim prabhashita kimasita vrajeta kim. How do they behave? What do they talk? Who is a Sthita prajna? So then he says, so that is much later. This is 2nd chapter 20th shloka, much earlier. Anyway, the shloka is different. It is na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyah. It is not vipashchit, it is kadachit. Nayam bhutva, not nayam kutaschit. Bhavita vana bhuyah. This whole line is different. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano, that is same. Na hanyate hanyamane sharira is also same. So first two lines there are differences. So somebody took the sharira and put it somewhere and all that. Anyway, okay, hota hai. So what is being told here? Here what is being told is that a person who is always aware of one's consciousness, one's own true identity, that person does not die, does not decay, does not get born, does not come from some place or go to some place or create something other than oneself. So, we can remember the incident which happened with Alexander. That is what we know. It's a legend. What was the story? Alexander's story in India. Huh. 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 Huh.
And then Alexander treated him. He said, you can't kill me.
No. So you. Huh.
Alexander was impressed by that person and he wanted to took him in his country. Then
Yes.
he
Yes.
He told him he would kill him.
Yes.
Then he laughed and he
Yes. So Alexander was impressed by this person, wisdom of this person, and wanted him to take him to his country. And then he said, no, I am not going. I am very happy here. So he said, no, you have to come, otherwise I will kill you. So he said, you cannot kill me. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Swami Vivekananda says one thing, I have repeated it many times here, religion is realization. And in Vedas, you will see this thing repeated again and again, that Vedas cannot give you realization. Vedas cannot give you knowledge. I think this is the only book in the entire world which talks ill of itself. You take any book, it will say, read this book. On the cover page, it will be written, 1,000,000 copies sold, bestseller, New York bestseller, this, that thing. Read this book and you will not want to keep it down, etc., etc. Unput downable. You see that word is there, unput downable. But this is the only book which says that you cannot get anything reading this book. We will see that. So, religion is realization. So, this idea we have to hammer on our mind that na hanyate hanyamane sharire. That the body does not, means the Atman, I do not die when the body dies. I am not the body. Why? Why? Because now we see suddenly, for the last couple of decades we see, a strong focus on the bodily dimension of a personality. Whatever we do is only on one dimension, the bodily dimension. Advertisement, movies, food, office, everything is focused only on the bodily dimension, not even intellectual dimension. For your information, operating computers is not intellectual. So, intellectual dimension also is not there. Only bodily dimension. Everything roti, kapda and makan. That's all. We are caught up in this gross and the most inferior dimension of our personality. There are other dimensions, but we don't even go there. So that is why we need to constantly hammer on our minds that I am not the I am not the body. I am not the body. I am something great than that. My existence is not a demeaning existence like that of a pig or a dog. If I have to concentrate my personality only on its bodily dimension, what is the difference between me and a pig? There is no difference. Absolutely no difference. So, my personality is a human personality, and human personality owes that humanness not because of brain but because of spirituality. Brain other beings also have. Chimpanzee also has a brain. Chimpanzees can be very intelligent. I will tell you one actual incident which happened in the life of Swami Vireshwaranandaji Maharaj. How many of you know Vireshwaranandaji? You know Vireshwaranandaji. 21 years. So he was the 10th president of Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission. His name was Panduranga Prabhu. He was called Prabhu Maharaj. He was a very dynamic person in all senses of the term. And when he met Swami Brahmananda, when he was in, he had met earlier also, but when he was in Chennai Mutt, Ramakrishna Mutt Chennai, then called Madras, Swami Brahmanandaji came there and saw him working. He was probably packing some books or something. Then he asked, what is your name? He said, Panduranga Prabhu. And he said, I will make you a real Prabhu. That he made. That is not the incident. So when this, you see, all great people are mischievous and genius and all that. These are common trends. So if you cannot become a great person or genius, at least you can become mischievous. So some similarity will be there. So this person was a great person, so already mischievous. So when he was in his college, he went to a zoo in Madras and with his friends. And there this chimpanzee was there. So he went there and he had an idea. What he did was he took a stick and he gave that chimpanzee that stick. So one end he was holding and the other end was given to the chimpanzee. So chimpanzee caught hold of the stick and he just gestured to the other friends and they all caught hold of the other end of the stick. And they started pulling like a tug of war. So chimpanzee also started pulling and it went on. Suddenly he gave a signal and they left the stick. So the chimpanzee and the stick, everything fell in the cage. And chimpanzee was very much embarrassed because somebody has duped chimpanzee like this, and these people were all very laughing very much fun. And they went little away from the cage and were watching what happens next. So chimpanzee was morose, no? It kind of, chimpanzees can have lot of expression on their face, and that's why they are used in movies and elsewhere. So it was morose like that, it was sitting, dhoka de diya, cheating. So then another group of youngsters went there. The chimpanzee was very cheerful. It gave the stick to those youngsters. And those youngsters also very happy. Chimpanzee is trying to play with us. So they caught hold of the stick. And chimpanzee started pulling. So they understood. They also started pulling. It went on for some time and chimpanzee left the stick. So they all went and fell on the other side. And chimpanzee started clapping the hands and showing the teeth exactly like these people were doing. So you see, intelligence, chimpanzee also has. So what we have greater than that is spirituality. It's only a human being which can even contemplate of going beyond human beingness, going beyond this body and mind. You show me any other animal which has even thought of going beyond this. It's only human being who has that sense, which has that sense that I somehow have to go beyond that. The number of such human beings may not be more. But there are people, that's why we are reading Katha Upanishad, and you have to suffer. See? There are people who have thought of this. Even now there are people who think like that they want to go beyond the structure of human beingness. And that is what makes a human being, human being. So, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. We are not the body. Then, again the Upanishad says, what if somebody thinks that I am the body? Hanta chen manyate hantum Hanta chen manyate hantum, hataschen manyate hatam. Ubhau tau na vijanito, nayam hanti na hanyate. Nayam hanti, it is wrong there. Nayam hanti na hanyate. So, if, chet means if. In Sanskrit, chet has one meaning, that is if. Hanta chet manyate hantum. Suppose, hanta, the person who kills, suppose that person thinks that hantum, that I can kill. Suppose one person is killing another person, and this one person X who is killing Y thinks that I can kill Y. That is why he or she kills. And hataschet manyate hatam. Not only that, the person who dies also thinks that the person is dying. So murderer, murdered. The person who murders thinks that he or she is committing a murder, and the person who is being murdered is thinking that the person is dying. Oh, mar gaya. And it's said, and I have also heard, unfortunately I have heard the cry which somebody gives when the time of death, at the time of death, 2 times. Both the times it was a murder. I did not know at that time, afterwards I came to know. We were in the training center in Belur Mutt. So just behind the training center, there is a small road. That's not the present training center. Earlier, when we were there at that time in 2001. So there is a small road. And then there is Vidya Mandir, Shraddha Pit. So, in that road, now it leads to our water treatment plant. Those days it used to just go to some place. So, in that road, lot of illegal activities used to take place. So, one truckwala was murdered somewhere in night time, 11 o'clock or something. And we heard a cry which is like the most heart-rending cry. When somebody is killed, the final cry. So I had heard this in childhood also, same murder. So then next day we came to know that the person was murdered. So this cry, one says, why? Because, I have died, I am dying. So the final cry, but you are not dying. But you are not dying. Only your body is getting dead. Or your body is only destroyed. You are not dying. So what does it give? It gives you a lot of power. Even at the bodily dimension, this knowledge gives you a lot of power. Just imagine if you knew that you are not the body, you would not be bothered about what happens to your body. People do not go outside because it's hot. They don't go outside because it is raining. They don't go outside because it is cold. So practically you can't go outside. So most of the time, some people, if they see, I have seen such people, they make so much of fuss. Some small pimple has come or something has come, it has become reddish. So all kinds of creams in the market are purchased. They go to all kinds of skin specialists. Why make so much fuss? You're not the body. Things become very simple. Even at the bodily dimension, at the practical level of life, day-to-day living, things become very simple if we understand that we are not the body, we are not the mind. Somebody scolds you, somebody calls you a fool. And of course, fool is not a scolding nowadays. Nowadays, there are so many other kinds of scolding. The kind which in movie they will say beep, beep. Nowadays, they don't give that beep also. It is so common. So that type of scolding, somebody scolds and you become morose. Why? It's only your mind. So if you know that, so that person will scold and you will be cheerful. You just imagine that person will be defeated. The victory of the other person lies in your getting morose. So if you simply smile like that, whatever that, so the conclusion is only two. Either you are a lunatic or you are an enlightened person. So why don't you be an enlightened person? Why don't you understand that the body and mind are the most inferior dimensions of your personality? So the personality has 5 dimensions. What are they? Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha. There are 5 sheets of your personality, 5 layers. And these 3 layers are the most inferior. Pranamaya kosha, suffocating. What suffocating? And then I am ill. This is happening, so hot, it's so cold. Always thinking of the body. So a person who thinks that he has killed is a fool. The person who thinks that the person has died is a fool. Ubhau tauna vijanito. Both of them don't understand. What do they don't understand? Na hanti na hanyate. I am this one, that is this self. This self, this Atman cannot be killed and is not killed. Does not kill and is not killed. Nahanyate is not killed and nahanti does not kill. Because Atman is only one. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, again I have told it many times here, Dvitiyat vai bhayam bhavati. Out of duality, fear arises. Not only fear, all human emotions arise out of duality. If there are 2 people, you can murder one, another person will be murdered. But if there is only one, who will that one murder? Wow. Yeah, it's good answer, very intelligent. But the problem here is that this person is also everlasting. Nitya. Not only one, Nitya, Shashwata, eternal. So suicide is not a possibility. Suicide is not a possibility. Anyway, suicide is a different subject, and I have been planning for many months now for conducting a workshop, how to commit suicide. And in September I will be conducting in Uluberia, in Bengali, how to commit suicide. Crash course. Any one of you wants to attend, you can come. Most welcome.
Could you demonstrate that?
Huh?
Could you demonstrate your art?
No, you see, because I am very expert in this, so I need to stay back to teach other people. How many of you have seen Hemlock Society? So Hemlock Society. It's good. It's really good. Very thoughtful. Ubhau tau na vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. So both of these people don't know that the Atman or the self is not killed and does not kill. Now you see, here we have to understand that all the dualities, good, evil, knowledge, ignorance, virtue, vice, changeability, unchangeability, all these dualities do not exist, but they are superimposed on one reality of Brahman. So in the case of our snake rope example, there is only rope and all other kinds of creatures. Why only snake? You can think of anaconda, you can think of so many other things. All these things are superimposed on that because of darkness. So, whatever you think of does not exist. Only this true reality exists. Now, the Upanishad tells you that because this one reality is infinite in space, time and causation, whatever you see, like you have infrared, ultraviolet, both the ends of the spectrum, right? All this in sound, you have so low decibel sounds that you cannot hear. Even high decibel sounds you cannot hear. So the two extreme ends of spectrum are nothing but different perceptions of the same reality. That is what is being told in the next mantra, that is Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan Atmasya Janto Nihito Guhayam Tamakratu Pashyati Vita Shoko Dhatu Prasadan Mahimana Matmanah. So today we are studying some mantras. All these mantras are very important, and I would suggest, if possible, please memorize them. Please memorize them. These are all very important mantras, oft quoted mantras, quoted often. You memorize them. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan. What does that mean? Aniyan anoho. Anu means atom. Here what does it mean? Subtle, the most subtle. Anu means the most subtle. Aniyan. So self is the subtler than the subtle. Why? Why? Because there is only one self. So if you have found out some particle, say boson particle, God particle or whatever, you have not found out the further subatomic particle, but if such a particle exists, self is beyond that particle. This is figuratively telling you that the self is only one, and whatever extreme ends of perception all come within that one reality. Are you getting this? Are you able to understand this? So India has many boundaries, right? Some boundaries are under dispute. India has huge boundaries. Now these, whatever India boundary line is, in that India comes, right? You can go up to Kashmir, you can go down up to Kanyakumari, you go to Kutch, or you go to Bay of Bengal. All these forms part of India. So even if you go to Andaman Nicobar's, that is also India. You go to Lakshadweep, that is also India. So this is all part of India. Similarly, but here there is one problem. You have a boundary. But in case of the self, there are no boundaries. So we have not discovered. You send explorer to a planet and find that there may be life. That is also Brahman. Why that is also Brahman? Because there is only one Brahman. All your perceptions will be necessarily part of or different understanding of that one Brahman. Are you clear, or anybody has got any questions? Not clear? No. Subtle means in that sense only. Subtler than the subtle. No. What it is telling is subtler than the subtle. Means suppose you have gone to some subatomic magnification level. You know that this is the last subatomic. So it said no, there is nothing last. There is something subtler than that, and that will be also Brahman. Means that will be also included. Mahiyan Mahatah, and it is greater than the great. So we know that there are so many Milky Ways, there are so many galaxies, there are so many, but we don't know the entire spectrum. We will never be able to know. We will never be able to know. But all that form part of the self. Atma nihita guhayam asya janto. So this human being, in its heart, it is figuratively said. So don't go for an heart examination or operation. You will not find Atman there. Just a figurative thing. So in your heart, that is inside you, Atma is lodged. Atma is preserved. So how to realize it or how to see it? So it is preserved somewhere. Like the lives of those fairy tales, it will be preserved in the heart of some parrot caged in some 7 seas and 7 mountains afterwards. So like that, this is preserved. How do you see this? Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan atma asya janto nihito guayam tamakratu pashyati vita shoko. Tamakratu dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah. How does one see? Tamakratu. Tam akratuhu pashyati. Akratu means one who does not have any desire. Akratu means one who does not have any desire. That person sees. Tam akratuhu pashyati vita shoko, and becomes free from sorrow. How? Prasadan. What is dhatu? Dhatu usually also means metal. It also means vital fluid. But what it means here is, dhatu means sense organs. Sense organs. Why? Because they dharayati, they hold the body. It is the sense organs which hold the body. So because sense organs hold the body, they are called dhatu. So this sense organ prasadan, prasadan means pleased, but in this sense it will become calmed. A person who has calmed the sense organs. Our sense organs are always restless. You see, your eyes wants to go in all directions. Your ears wants to hear everything apart from the lesson, whatever is being taught. Suppose somebody is talking in front of you, apart from that talk, other things will come to your ear. And your smell sense, everything is scattered. It wants to go into, and mind is the most disturbed sense organ. It can go in all directions. Sitting in one place, it can go all across the universe and come back, or may not come back. So, dhatu prasadan. So first you have to settle your mind, your sense organs. First you have to make them calm, restful, not restless. So first it has to rest in peace, and then you can become desireless. Then only you can become akratuhu, without desire.
In one previous verse, where we are seeing that Om can give both material success and spiritual success. But here we are seeing that Tamakratu, we have to become desireless to see that. Only then we can see that.
And this is not for material success.
No, but there we are having both, means material success and the spiritual success.
No, it is not like both. Whatever you want, it will give. If you want, if you want material success, it will give you material success, but not both at that time, not simultaneously. You cannot have the cake and eat it too. Like, it's an adage. So, here what is told is, unless you control or you calm your sense organs, this will not happen. Why? Because if you want to understand something, it has to first stay put, calm. Something which is in motion cannot be studied. It's something which you will be knowing better. So water also, first it has to get calm, and then everything can be done in water. Similarly, any moving particle, it has to first get stationary. So all our sense organs which are moving in all directions without any purpose mostly, have to become calm. They have to first made stationary. Once they are made stationary, then we can become desireless, and then vita shoko. Chandogya Upanishad says, tarati shokam atmavid. One who knows the self overcomes, conquers sorrow. Sorrow means what? It's not only sorrow, also happiness. Shokam means not only shokam, but also happiness. You will not have sorrow, you will not have joy, because these are dualities. You will neither have this, you will neither have that. Dukeshu anudigna mana, sukeshu vigataspra. You will not be attached to happiness, you will not be disturbed by misery. But generally, we are all full of kratu. We are all full of desires. So many desires. And